Thanks everyone for joining us. This evening we'll be talking about obtaining a Japanese driver's license. So we'll cover a couple of different topics. Uh, so to start with, we'd like to tell you a little bit about us, and by us I mean Link Japan Careers. So to get us started, a little bit about Link Japan Careers and the Lincoln Motivation Group. So we are part of the Lincoln Motivation Group, which is Japan's leading HR consulting and recruiting organization. We offer a lot of different services within the group, and with LJC, we primarily focus on working with the international community and connecting the international community to opportunities in the business sector in Japan. Basically making life in Japan more accessible to that international community and also making that labor force more accessible to the Japanese business community. All right, and we'll get started by introducing our team. So to start with, I'm over here on the left. My name is Gordon. I'm originally from the US. I've been in Japan just about 24 years. I started my career as a Juku instructor back when I was in university, and since then I've had lots of different roles, including working as an ALT. I spent some time as a manager in Interact for a bit, and now I'm back with LJC working as one of the domestic recruiters, primarily focused on Kansai and West Japan at the moment. And with that, I'll turn things over to our moderator, Reese.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reese, and I'm the moderator today. As you can see, I'm in an office. That's why I'm wearing this mask. But yeah, I've been in Japan for 8 years, originally from Australia, and my previous work experience includes being an ALT, and currently I'm the marketing consultant for Link Japan Careers. If you have any questions throughout our presentation, please message me directly and we'll try to answer them at the end. Thank you. And I'll hand it over now to my co-worker, Tomoe.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tomoe Noguchi. I'm Japanese. I've lived in the US during my high school years, so that's when I acquired the US driving license there. Currently, I'm a recruiter for ALT in Yokohama and Tokyo area. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Noguchi-san, and we'll turn things over to Andrew.
And last but hopefully not least, my name is Andrew Johnson, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. Been living in Japan for nearly 8 years now. And when I came to Japan, I came as an ALT with Interact, but also worked as a trainer and a manager for ALTs there as well. And now I work as a recruiter with Link Japan Careers. That's kind of me in a quick nutshell.
Great, thanks, Andrew. Before we jump into our main topics, I wanted to touch a little bit on the benefits of obtaining a Japanese license. A lot of people are maybe sitting on the fence deciding if it's really worth the hassle, or what would they gain by getting a Japanese license. So I wanted to highlight some of those things here. To start with, we have travel in Japan. So Japan, as we know, is a beautiful country. It's very diverse. There are lots of great places to visit, but some of those places are a little out of the way and may require several trains to get there and buses, and it's not always really convenient to just hop on a train and then hop on a bus, where you could actually just rent a car and maybe go there directly. So one of the benefits would be, if you're able to rent a car and able to drive, you can get to some of those out of the way places that are off the beaten track that the normal tourist doesn't get to see, but you get to experience because you live in Japan and you have that opportunity. Next to that, we have job opportunities, certainly with Interact, but also with other job opportunities through Link Japan Careers. Being able to drive really opens the door to other opportunities that may not be available to non-drivers. In the case of Interact, they have positions in very rural areas, areas that are maybe more accessible through driving. And that's the same for other companies as well. Being able to drive kind of opens up those opportunities. It gives you a broader selection of places that you would be able to work with, and a more variety of positions that you could consider in your job search. Below that, we have convenience. Depending on where you live, even if you live in, say, Tokyo or Yokohama, one of these big urban areas, there are just times that having a car would be really convenient. Maybe you want to buy some furniture. Maybe you want to make a big run to Costco. Maybe you want to take a weekend trip with some friends. Having that ability to either rent a car or having a car being able to go out there and do those sort of things can make life a lot easier. If you've ever had to drag things home from IKEA, or you've had a big shopping trip and you're on the train, you know how frustrating it can be trying to manage all those bags and things like that. And if you have a car, that's one thing you wouldn't have to worry about. You'd be able to load everything in the car and get to and from your destination with more ease. Finally, we have emergency situations. It's just maybe a peace of mind, especially if you have a family or even if you're on your own. If an emergency situation were to arise, just knowing that you'd be able to drive and being able to access a car gives you a little bit of a peace of mind. I know a lot of people who are able to drive but maybe don't necessarily own a car, but they are able to rent cars or use a car sharing service. And if an emergency were to arise, it would be nice to have that opportunity in the middle of the night if you needed it. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next section, converting your license.
So for those who have a license from your home country, I'll explain how to convert to Japanese driving license. In Japanese, it is called Gaimen Kirikai, which you hear and see a lot at the driving test center. So what you need to prepare is driving license from your own country, which needs to be more than 3 months old from the issuance, and of course needs to be valid. Next, you need a residence card, which is a Zairyu card, and a license translation. And it needs to be translated to Japanese by official institution called JAF, Japanese Automobile Federation. You need to request here and issue, and the cost is about 3,000 yen. And of course, the valid passport. And in order to prove that your passport and your driver's license is 3 months old, you can use the official academic transcripts, work certification, pay stubs, utility bills, your name and address, or entry stamp into your home country in your passport. And you also need a certificate of residence, which is a Juminhyo that you can get from your city office. And lastly, you need a photo, 2 identical passport style photos for application forms. And the size needs to be 3 by 2.4 centimeters and has to be new, taken within half a year. So once you collected everything, you need to walk into the nearest driving center. Usually reservation is not necessary, but please make sure to check with your nearest driving test center. At the reception desk, tell the person I'm here for Gaimen Kirikai or conversion. Then you submit all the documents and take an eye exam to get the license on the same day. So those whose country are listed here on the right bottom, this is all you need to do to convert to the Japanese license. So it's fairly easy and no harm to convert. So to use as an identification card in Japan. So please do so. And if you're from a country not listed on here, then you need 2 more steps to go. One is a written test, and written test consists from 10 multiple choice questions. 7 needs to be answered correctly in order to pass. And next is a driving test. Driving test is a little bit more difficult. It's fairly common to fail the driving test because Japanese rules are quite strict. And speaking from my experience, I converted my US driving license back in 2009, and I had to take 5 times to pass this test. Examiner was strict about how I drive, and the main reasons I kept failing is the road is opposite in Japan from the US and quite narrow in Japan. So I want to tell some key points to ace this driving tests. One is always keep left on the lane and adjust seat before driving. Hands on 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock always, and checking mirrors constantly to show how you are paying attention at all times. And you need to do the reverse parking, and also be careful not to mount the car when making a turn. Even if you fail multiple times for this driving test, it's significantly cheaper than going to a driving school from scratch. So I encourage you to convert your home license to Japanese one. So to summarize, there's home country license must be at least 3 months old from issuance. And some driving centers are run by police, so don't be alarmed by that.